Hello there. Welcome to our new channel, The Prefect PM. We have had requests from our Prefect BA subscribers to post videos on project management and management related stuff. For ease of viewing our content, we came up with this new channel. Please subscribe, like and share. If you have a Scrum Master interview coming up shortly, then this is the video for you. The series is divided into chapters for easy understanding of concepts through questions and answers and ease of navigation to the required chapter. The chapters are as below: Scrum Basics, Roles and Responsibilities, Scrum Ceremonies, Scrum Artifacts, Scrum Applications, Situational Questions. Subscribe and click the bell icon so that you would be notified when we release new videos. Let's get started. Let us start with a case study for easy understanding of the concepts. The New York-based IT firm was experiencing difficulties with one of their projects, which involved the development of a new food ordering app for their client Vegan Gardens. Despite several months of effort, the project failed to deliver a working software in accordance with the client's specifications. One of the team's major challenges was the communication and coordination difficulties that came with having team members in different geographical locations such as New York, San Francisco, London, Bangalore, Delhi, and so on. Furthermore, client requirements were constantly changing in accordance with current trends. In an effort to turn the project around, the company decided to switch to Scrum framework. Let us use this as a premise and see from our interview questions how the Scrum Master and Scrum team were able to develop and deliver a successful food ordering app which met all the client requirements with the distributed team. Let us begin with Chapter 1, which focuses on the basics of Scrum. Question number 1. What is Scrum? Scrum is a framework for managing and completing projects originally developed for software development but now widely used in other industries such as IT, marketing and manufacturing. It is based on the Agile methodology which prioritizes flexibility and adaptability over strict planning and execution. It is a lightweight, iterative and incremental approach that helps teams deliver a working product incrementally. This framework is made up of 3 roles, 5 elements and 3 artifacts. The goal of Scrum is to provide a flexible and efficient way to manage and complete projects. It encourages collaboration, adaptability and continuous improvement, allowing teams to deliver a working product incrementally and respond to changes in a timely manner. Overall, Scrum is a flexible and efficient way to manage and complete projects by providing a structure for teams to work together in a collaborative and adaptive way. It allows teams to handle changing requirements, keep stakeholders informed about the progress of the project, and deliver working software incrementally. Question number 2. What are the roles in Scrum? Scrum defines 3 roles. First, the Scrum Master. The Scrum Master is in charge of facilitating the Scrum process and ensuring that Scrum is understood and implemented. They assist the development team and organization in adhering to Scrum and its principles. Second, the Product Owner. Product Owner is accountable for representing business stakeholders and maximizing the value of the product under development. They create and prioritize the product backlog to ensure that the development team is working on the most valuable items. PO possesses the what and why part. Third one, the development team, responsible for delivering a potentially releasable increment of the product at the end of each sprint. They self-organize to accomplish their work and make decisions. They own the how part. These roles are designed to be cross-functional and work together to ensure the success of the project. Question number 3. What are the 4 Scrum events? The 4 Scrum events are as follows. Sprint planning. a meeting held at the start of each sprint in which the development team plans the work that will be completed during the sprint with input from the product owner. Daily Scrum or Stand-up, a daily 15-minute time-boxed meeting for the development team to sync up, inspect progress towards the sprint goal, and plan their next steps. Sprint Review, a meeting at the end of each sprint in which the development team and stakeholders demonstrate the work completed during sprint and discuss any necessary adjustments. Sprint Retrospective, a meeting held at the end of each sprint in which the development team reflects on the past sprint, identifies what went well and what could be improved, and creates a plan for improvement during the next sprint. These events are designed to provide structure and rhythm to the Scrum process, allowing the team to continuously improve and deliver value to the stakeholders. Question number 4. What are the benefits of using Scrum? The benefits of using Scrum can include improved project visibility. Scrum provides regular and transparent progress updates through daily stand-up meetings, sprint reviews, and sprint retrospectives. Faster delivery. Scrum emphasizes delivering small, usable portions of a project in short time frames, enabling faster delivery and quicker feedback. Increased team collaboration and motivation. Scrum encourages close collaboration and communication between the team members and empowers them to make decisions and solve problems together. Flexibility. Scrum allows for changes and adaptations to be made throughout the project, reducing the risk of delivering a product that does not meet the needs of the stakeholders. Higher quality products. Scrum's focus on continual improvement and review helps to identify and address issues early, leading to higher quality products. Better stakeholder engagement. Regular sprint reviews and demonstrations give stakeholders a clear understanding of the project's progress and allow for early feedback. These benefits can lead to improved project outcomes and increased organizational success. Question number 5. Explain the difference between the Scrum values and Scrum pillars. The Scrum values are the guiding principles that the Scrum framework is built upon. The Scrum values are courage, focus, commitment, respect, and openness. These values form the foundation of the Scrum framework and help the team to work together effectively. The Scrum pillars, on the other hand, are the 3 fundamental components of the Scrum framework: transparency, inspection, and adaptation. Transparency refers to the need for open and clear communication between the development team, product owner, and stakeholders. Inspection refers to the regular opportunities to inspect and evaluate the progress of the project. Adaptation refers to the ability to make necessary changes based on the results of the inspections. Question number 6. How did the team's focus on delivering working software incrementally contribute to the success of the project? The team's focus on delivering working software incrementally was a key factor in the success of the project. By delivering working software in small, manageable chunks, the team was able to get feedback from the customers and stakeholders early on, which allowed them to make necessary adjustments and improvements to the app as the project progressed. For example, in Sprint 1, the Scrum team developed and did a demo for the browse feature of the menu. This allowed the company to start using the app and receive feedback from the stakeholders on this specific feature. In Sprint 2, the team completed the ordering feature, which added more functionality to the app and allowed for further feedback. Finally, in Sprint 3, the team completed the payment integration, which added even more functionality to the app and allowed for further feedback and adjustments. This approach allowed the team to keep up with the changing requirements and to keep stakeholders informed about the progress of the project. The ability to deliver working software incrementally also helped to build trust and credibility with stakeholders and customers who were able to see the app develop and improve over time. In conclusion, the team's focus on delivering working software incrementally was a major factor in the success of the project. By using this approach, the team was able to address the challenges of the distributed team, receive feedback, and make necessary adjustments and ultimately deliver a successful product. Question number 7. In what ways can the team exhibit openness and respect for each other's ideas and perspectives? The team in the case study exhibited openness and respect by utilizing clear communication channels and practices. They had daily video conferences and used collaboration tools to ensure that everyone was on the same page and that work was progressing as planned. This helped to build trust and foster an environment where everyone's ideas and perspectives were valued. Additionally, the team was able to handle the challenges of cultural diversity and time zone differences through open and respectful communication, which was the key to the success of the project. By working together and valuing each other's contributions, the team was able to overcome the challenges they faced and deliver a successful end product. Also, for example, when both back-end and front-end developers started development from the UI mockup designs, they both sat together and discussed their concerns and approaches to ensure everyone was on the same page. This created openness. When conflicts arose, they discussed it with an open mind and respected each other's point of view. This way, they came to a conclusion and delivered the best value to the customer. Question number 8. Are Agile and Scrum the same? Agile and Scrum are related but distinct concepts. Agile is a project management philosophy that prioritizes flexibility, collaboration, and customer satisfaction. It values individuals and interactions, working software, customer collaboration, and response to change. Agile is a mindset that can be applied to a variety of project management approaches. Scrum, on the other hand, is a specific framework that implements the Agile philosophy. It provides a structured approach to project management with clearly defined roles, ceremonies, and rules. Scrum also emphasizes iterative development, frequent deliveries, and continuous improvements. In summary, Agile is a mindset and a philosophy, while Scrum is a specific implementation of Agile. Question number 9. In Scrum, what is the difference between minimum viable product MVP and minimum marketable product MMP? In Scrum, the terms MVP minimum viable product and MMP minimum marketable product are related but have different meanings. The MVP refers to the smallest version of a product that can be released to the market and still deliver value to the customers. It is the bare minimum set of features that the product needs in order to meet the needs of the target audience and generate feedback for further development. The minimum marketable product MMP, on the other hand, refers to the smallest version of a product that can be released to the market and be profitable. This means that the product has a sufficient number of features and quality to meet the needs of the target audience, be differentiated from competitors, and generate revenue. In summary, while both MVP and MMP are focused on creating a minimum version of a product, minimum viable product prioritizes delivering value to the customers and generating feedback, while MMP prioritizes profitability and marketability. The food ordering app in the case study started as a minimum viable product in the initial sprints. During these sprints, the team focused on delivering the core features of the app, such as the browse feature and the ordering feature, and payment was handled only via cash on delivery. These core features allowed the company to start using the app and receive feedback from customers early on. Based on their feedback, the team was able to make necessary adjustments and improvements to the app, ensuring that it met the needs of the customers. As the project progressed and more features were added, such as payment integration, order tracking, and support, The app became a minimum marketable product MMP. The MMP has all the essential features and functionalities that customers needed and could be marketed and also sold to the customers. The successful launch of the food ordering app along with the positive feedback received from the customers demonstrated the success of the team's effort in developing a product that met the needs of the market. Okay, let's get started with Chapter 2, Scrum Roles and Responsibilities. Question number 10. What are the responsibilities of a Scrum Master? The Scrum Master acts as a servant leader to the team and is responsible for facilitating the Scrum process and ensuring that the team adheres to the Scrum framework. Some of the specific responsibilities of the Scrum Master include guiding and coaching the team in the Scrum framework, including its principles, practices, and values. Removing obstacles that may prevent the team from achieving its goals. Protecting the team from external interruptions and distractions. Facilitating Scrum events such as sprint planning, daily Scrum, sprint review, and sprint retrospective. Ensuring that the team is adhering to the definition of done and producing high quality work. Encouraging continuous improvement and helping the team identify areas of improvement. Representing the team to stakeholders and ensuring that their needs and concerns are heard and addressed. From our case study, for the development of the Browse feature, the Scrum Master worked with the framework team to identify and prioritize any dependencies and risks related to the mobile framework. The Scrum Master helped to coordinate and facilitate any discussions or meetings between the development team and the framework team to ensure that the dependencies were resolved in a timely and effective manner. The Scrum Master also helped to monitor the progress of the Browse feature development and provided support and guidance to the development team as needed. By performing these tasks, the Scrum Master helped to ensure that the development of the Browse feature was carried out smoothly and effectively, and that any obstacles or roadblocks were addressed in a timely and efficient manner. Question number 11. What are the responsibilities of a product owner? The product owner is responsible for maximizing the value of the product being developed by the Scrum team. They do this by effectively managing the product backlog, which is a prioritized list of features and requirements for product. The product owner's responsibilities include developing and communicating the product goal, creating and communicating the product backlog items, ordering the items based on priority, and ensuring that the product backlog is transparent, visible, and understood by everyone in the team. The product owner is the voice of the customer and is accountable for making decisions about what the team will work on and ensuring that the product meets the needs of the stakeholders. In our case study, the PO creates epics, that is large bodies of work, to achieve specific features such as browse, order, and payment features in case of food ordering app. These epics can be broken down into smaller, more manageable user stories which describe the desired functionality from the end user's perspective. For example, the PO might create a user story to group the menu items by categories such as breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or to implement a search functionality that allows users to easily find specific food items. In creating these user stories, the PO works closely with the development team to ensure that the product being developed meets the needs of the stakeholders and delivers value to the end users. By having a clear understanding of the requirements and priorities, the product owner helps the development team focus on delivering the most important features first and ensuring that the product meets the stakeholders' needs and expectations. Question number 12. What are the responsibilities of the development team? The development team is responsible for creating a plan for the sprint, instilling quality by following the definition of done, which outlines the standards and expectations for the work completed, adapting their plan each day to achieve the sprint goal, which is the objective of the current sprint. Holding each other accountable as professionals, working together to produce the best possible outcomes. In case of the food ordering app, the development team was tasked with developing the browse feature as one of the sprint goals. To achieve this goal, the team would have broken down the user stories associated with the browse feature into smaller and more manageable subtasks. For example, if the product owner had created a user story for menu grouping by categories like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, the development team would have broken this down into the following subtasks. Research and select a design for grouping menu items by category. Develop the chosen design for grouping the menu items. Test the grouping to ensure it works correctly and meets the requirements. Once the subtasks were done, team plotted the dependencies among the subtasks and agreed on a plan for completion. In daily stand-ups, the team were providing updates against the plan and making suitable adjustments in case of any changes. The development team is responsible for collaborating with each other and with the other members of the Scrum team to deliver high-quality working software that meets the needs of the stakeholders and the end users. Question number 13. As a Scrum Master, how do you facilitate collaboration and communication between the team members in different geographic locations? In the given case study, the Scrum Master facilitated the collaboration and communication between the team members in different geographic locations by utilizing video conferences and collaboration tools. They ensured that everyone was on the same page and that work was progressing as planned. Regular virtual stand-up meetings were set up where the entire team could come together to discuss progress, raise any concerns, and align on the next steps. Additionally, using collaboration tools such as video conferencing, instant messaging, and project management software could also help to keep everyone connected and informed. The Scrum Master can also encourage the use of pair programming or other forms of pair work to foster a sense of teamwork and share ownership of the project. Another important aspect is to have clear expectations and guidelines in place to ensure that everyone is on the same page. The Scrum Master can facilitate this by defining clear roles and responsibilities for each team member, setting clear goals and objectives, and creating a shared understanding of what constitutes success. This can help to ensure that everyone is working towards the same end goal and that everyone is aware of their role in achieving it. Finally, the Scrum Master should strive to foster an inclusive and supportive environment that values diversity and encourages open communication. This can include encouraging team members to share their ideas and perspectives, promote active listening and active engagement, and ensure that everyone feels heard and valued. By doing so, the Scrum Master can help to build a strong and cohesive team even when team members are separated by geography. Question number 14. Who is responsible for keeping the stakeholders informed about the progress of the project? The Scrum Master is responsible for facilitating communication and keeping stakeholders informed about the progress of the project. However, the entire Scrum team, including the product owner, should be involved in communicating with the stakeholders and keeping them updated. Question number 15. As a Scrum Master, how can you track the sprint progress? As a Scrum Master, tracking the sprint progress involves regularly monitoring the team's progress and ensuring that they are on track to meet the sprint goals. For the development of the browse feature, a food ordering app, the Scrum Master could use the following steps to track progress. Hold daily stand-up meetings. During the daily stand-up meetings, the Scrum Master can ask each team member about their progress and identify any roadblocks that are impacting their work. Review the sprint backlog. The sprint backlog is a prioritized list of user stories and tasks that the team is committed to completing during the sprint. The Scrum Master can review the sprint backlog regularly to ensure that the team is making steady progress towards completing the user stories. Use a sprint burndown chart. A sprint burndown chart is a visual representation of a team's progress during the sprint. The Scrum Master can use this chart to track the amount of work completed and the amount of work remaining, helping to identify any potential issues or delays. Check in with the team. The Scrum Master can check in with the team regularly to ensure that they have the resources they need to complete the tasks and user stories. They can also help resolve any conflicts or dependencies that may arise during development of the browse feature. By using these methods, the Scrum Master can effectively track the progress of the sprint and ensure that the team is on track to meet its goals. This information can also be shared with stakeholders, providing them visibility into the team's progress and allowing more informed decision making. Question number 16. How does the Scrum Master help the product owner? The Scrum Master can help the product owner in several ways to ensure the success of the project. For example, let us consider the development of the ordering feature for the food ordering app. The Scrum Master can assist the product owner in the following ways. Prioritization. The Scrum Master can help the product owner prioritize the backlog items for the ordering feature and ensure that the highest priority items are being worked on first. User stories. The Scrum Master can help the product owner write clear and concise user stories for the ordering feature, which will make it easier for the development team to understand what needs to be built. Acceptance criteria. The Scrum Master can work with the product owner to define the acceptance criteria for each user story of the ordering feature so that the development team knows what exactly they need to deliver. Feedback. The Scrum Master can help the product owner get feedback on the ordering feature from stakeholders, end users, and the development team during the sprints, which will ensure that the product is heading in the right direction. By working together, the Scrum Master and the product owner can ensure that the ordering feature for the food ordering app is delivered on time, within budget, and to a high standard. Question number 17. How do the roles in Scrum work together? In Scrum, the roles work together to deliver a successful project. The Scrum Master helps facilitate and support the Scrum process. The product owner is responsible for ensuring the project delivers maximum value. The development team creates and delivers the working product increment. The roles collaborate and communicate to plan, execute, and adjust the project as needed, utilizing Scrum events and artifacts to keep everyone informed and on track. The end goal is to continuously improve the process and deliver high-quality software in an efficient manner. Question number 18. Describe your daily routine as a Scrum Master. As a Scrum Master, my daily routine would involve a number of key activities to support the team and ensure a successful sprint. Here is a sample of Scrum Master's routine for the browse feature development sprint. Start of the day. I would hold a daily stand-up meeting with the development team to discuss the progress of the previous day and any obstacles they are facing. This helps me to understand the team's current status and plan for the day. Sprint planning. At the beginning of the sprint, I would work with product owner and the development team to plan the sprint, identify the user stories, and break them into smaller and manageable tasks. Sprint review. I would conduct a sprint review to discuss the progress of the browse feature development with the stakeholders and get their feedback. This helps to ensure that we are on track to meet the sprint goal and make any necessary adjustments. Sprint retrospective. At the end of the sprint, I would hold a retrospective meeting to reflect on what went well, what could be improved, and plan the next sprint. Sprint backlog management. I would work with the team to prioritize the sprint backlog, track the progress, and identify any roadblocks that might impact the sprint goal. Communication. I would work to facilitate communication between team members, especially those in different geographical locations, through regular video calls, instant messaging, and email. Facilitation. I would help the team to stick to the Scrum framework, resolve any conflicts, and keep the sprint on track. By following this routine and helping to facilitate collaboration and communication, I aim to support the team in delivering a successful sprint and deliver value to the stakeholders. Let's begin with Chapter 3, Scrum Ceremonies. Question number 19. What is the purpose of the sprint planning meeting and what is your role as a Scrum Master during the ceremony? The purpose of the sprint planning meeting is to plan the upcoming sprint, including identification of the sprint goals, selecting items for the product backlog, and estimating the effort required to complete the selected items. As a Scrum Master for a food ordering app development project, my role during the sprint planning meeting would be to facilitate the collaboration and communication between the development team and the product owner. During the meeting, the team would work together to determine the scope of the next sprint, which in this example could be to focus on the development of the browse feature. First, the product owner would present the goal for the sprint, which in this case would be to build the functionality for users to browse the menu and place an order for food delivery. The development team would then ask questions to clarify any requirements and to ensure that they have a clear understanding of what needs to be done. Next, the development team would work with the product owner to break down the sprint goal into smaller, manageable user stories, if not already done so in the backlog refinement sessions, which we will cover further in this video. For example, the business analyst in the team would create a user story for searching the menu by categories such as breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and another user story for allowing users to filter their search results by food type such as vegetarian or gluten-free options. Once the user stories have been identified, the development team would then estimate the effort required to complete each story. The team would also identify any technical challenges that might arise during the sprint and discuss how they would be addressed. As a Scrum Master, I would facilitate this process by keeping the meeting organized and on track. I would help to ensure that all team members have an opportunity to contribute their ideas and perspectives. I would also work to resolve any conflicts that might arise between the team members and ensure that everyone is on the same page about the scope and objectives of the sprint. Overall, the goal of the sprint planning meeting is to ensure that the development team has a clear understanding of the work that needs to be done and is aligned on the steps that will be taken to achieve the sprint goal. As the Scrum Master, my role is to facilitate this process and ensure that the meeting runs smoothly and effectively. Question number 20. What are the techniques for estimation used in Scrum? The most common estimation technique used in Scrum is planning poker. This is a consensus-based technique where team members use cards or virtual tools to establish the size of the work items, which is an agile approach to estimating and prioritizing tasks. Other techniques include affinity estimating. This is where team members group similar work items together and estimate the size of the entire group. Fist of 5. This is where each team member shows a number of fingers to represent their estimate and the group reaches a consensus based on the majority vote. T-shirt sizing. This is where work items are assigned a size such as XS, S, M, L or XL based on their relative size and complexity. Ideal days. This is where team members estimate the number of ideal work days required to complete a work item, taking into account all necessary activities. As the Scrum Master, your role during the estimation is to facilitate the estimation process and to ensure that the team has a shared understanding of the work items and the estimation process being used. The goal of the estimation in Scrum is to reach a shared understanding of the relative effort required to complete a user story. The goal is not to achieve a highly accurate estimate, but rather to have an estimate that is good enough to make informed decisions and plan sprints effectively. In case of user story, user should be able to click on a food item and add it to the cart. The team would use planning poker and go through following steps. Each team member is given a set of planning poker cards with numerical values, usually starting from 0 and going up in increments of 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13 and so on. The Scrum Master or the product owner reads the user story and the team discusses it to understand the requirements and identify any dependencies or risks. Each team member then privately selects the card that represents the estimate they think is appropriate based on their understanding of the story. The team members then reveal their card simultaneously and discuss any differences in their estimates. If there is an agreement, the team moves on to the next story. If there are differences, the team discusses the reasons behind the estimates and reaches consensus. In case of food ordering app, if the team members estimated 8, 13 and the majority selected 13, then the consensus is to go with 13. The estimated value is recorded and used to help the team plan and prioritize their work. By using planning poker, the Scrum team can ensure that they have a common understanding of the effort required for each user story and that everyone has a voice in the estimation process. Question number 21. What is the purpose of the daily Scrum and what is your role as a Scrum Master during the ceremony? The daily Scrum is a daily stand-up meeting where team members provide a quick update on their progress and raise any issues or obstacles to the rest of the team and the Scrum Master. The purpose is to synchronize the team's work, improve communication and collaboration, and identify and remove any obstacles to the progress. As the Scrum Master, the role during the daily Scrum is to facilitate the meeting, ensure that it stays focused and within the time box, and helps the team identify and remove any obstacles that are blocking their progress. The Scrum Master should not control the content of the meeting, but rather facilitate the team members to discuss and collaborate on their own. The daily Scrum is an opportunity for the development team to self-organize and create a plan for the next 24 hours to achieve the sprint goal. Question number 22. What is the purpose of the sprint review meeting and what is your role as a Scrum Master during the ceremony? The purpose of the sprint review meeting is to inspect the work that was completed during the sprint and to adjust the product backlog if necessary. The sprint review provides transparency and helps the team, stakeholders and customers collaborate and align on the progress. During the sprint review meeting for the food ordering app, the development team would present their progress on the browse feature, which might include showcasing the browse by search functionality, the browse by category grouping and the user navigation. The purpose of the sprint review meeting is to demonstrate the completed work to the stakeholders and gather feedback so they can adjust future sprint goals accordingly. As the Scrum Master, your role during this ceremony would be to facilitate the review meeting, ensuring that the team has a clear understanding of what they will be presenting and that the stakeholders have a clear understanding of the product being demonstrated. You would also be responsible for creating a collaborative environment that encourages open and honest communication between the team and the stakeholders. You would help to keep the meeting on track, making sure that everyone has the opportunity to speak and that feedback is being captured and documented. Additionally, you would help to ensure that the meeting is focused on the product increment and that any discussion remains relevant to the sprint review purpose. Question number 23. What is the purpose of the sprint retrospective meeting and what is your role as a Scrum Master during the ceremony? The purpose of the sprint retrospective meeting is to allow the Scrum team to reflect on the just completed sprint and identify ways to improve their way of working. The goal is to create a culture of continuous improvement within the team. During the sprint retrospective meetings, the Scrum Master has several key roles to play. Facilitate the meeting. The Scrum Master is responsible for ensuring that the meeting runs smoothly and that all team members have an opportunity to voice their thoughts and opinions. Capture what went well and what didn't go well. The Scrum Master should help the team capture what went well during the sprint, such as good collaboration between team members. Additionally, the Scrum Master should also capture what did not go well, such as issues with external teams like the mobile framework team dependencies. Log points for improvements. The Scrum Master should log all the points identified for improvement and ensure that they are tracked and incorporated into the next sprint. Ensure follow-on actions. The Scrum Master should follow up on the actions identified in the retrospective meeting and ensure that they are incorporated into the next sprint. For example, in the case of food ordering app, if the team identified that collaboration was good between team members during the development of the browse feature, this should be noted and celebrated. On the other hand, if the team faced issues with external teams like the mobile framework team, this should also be noted and a plan for improvement should be developed for the next sprint. The Scrum Master should log these points for improvement and ensure that the team incorporates them into their next sprint. So during the next retrospective, Scrum Master can check whether those action items were implemented and followed up. Question number 24. What is the purpose of the backlog refinement meeting and what is your role as a Scrum Master during the ceremony? The purpose of the backlog refinement meeting, also known as backlog grooming, is to regularly review and update the product backlog, ensuring that it is refined, prioritized, and ready for the upcoming sprints. During this meeting, the team will review the product backlog items, clarify requirements, and make any necessary updates to ensure that the items are well understood and ready for deployment. Let's take the example of a user story in the order feature. As a user, I want to be able to view my order history so that I can keep track of past orders. During the backlog refinement meeting, the Scrum Master's role would be to facilitate the discussion between the development team and the product owner about the details of this user story. Scrum Master would start by ensuring that everyone has a clear understanding of what the user story means and what it entails to. Then the team would discuss how to break down the user story into smaller, more manageable tasks. For example, the team might decide to first build a database to store the user's order history, then create a user interface to display the information, and finally integrate this functionality into the main application. The Scrum Master would also ensure that the team is considering any technical challenge that might arise, such as data security and privacy concerns, and that they are being addressed. During the meeting, the Scrum Master would also ensure that the team is updating the product backlog with the refined user story and its tasks. Finally, the Scrum Master would help the team prioritize the tasks and ensure that they are ready to be taken on to the next sprint. By facilitating the backlog refinement meeting, the Scrum Master is playing a crucial role in helping the team ensure that the product backlog is clear, concise, and ready to be worked on in the next sprint. Question number 25. How do Scrum ceremonies contribute to the success of the project? Scrum ceremonies play a crucial role in the success of a project by fostering regular communication, promoting accountability, and providing structure for continuous improvement. The ceremonies provide opportunities for the team to reflect their work, plan for the next sprint, and identify areas of improvement. This helps the team stay focused, aligned, and motivated towards the project's goals, leading to better outcomes and increased success. The Scrum ceremonies include daily stand-up meetings, sprint planning, sprint review, and sprint retrospective. Question number 26. How does the team handle the daily Scrum ceremony while working in different time zones? In the given case study, the large IT company had a distributed team with members located in different geographic locations such as New York, San Francisco, London, and Bangalore, which resulted in time zone differences. To handle these challenges, the Scrum Master facilitated the daily Scrum ceremony using video conferencing and collaboration tools to ensure that everyone was on the same page and that work was progressing as planned. The team was able to communicate and coordinate effectively, which allowed them to deliver working software incrementally and make necessary adjustments as the project progressed. By using technology and clear communication channels, the team was able to overcome the time zone differences and hold successful daily Scrum ceremonies, contributing to the success of the project. Question number 27. What is Scrum of Scrums? Scrum of Scrums, or SOS, is an approach to scale Agile and Scrum to manage large complex projects that involve multiple Scrum teams. It is a coordination mechanism that enables multiple Scrum teams to work together effectively by allowing representatives from each team to come together regularly to share their progresses, challenges, and interdependencies. The Scrum of Scrums helps to align the efforts of different teams and ensure that their work is integrated and consistent, enabling the entire project to progress smoothly and effectively. It also provides a forum for discussing cross-team dependencies and risks and helps teams identify and resolve issues that could impact the project as a whole. In the given case study of a large IT company developing a food ordering app with a distributed team, let us assume that Scrum Team 1 is responsible for developing the browse and order features for food ordering app, while Scrum Team 2 is responsible for developing the payment feature, including online banking and credit card payment options. In order to ensure that these features are integrated seamlessly, Scrum Team 1 and 2 would participate in the Scrum of Scrums ceremony. During SOS, the Scrum Master from each team would come together to discuss and coordinate their work. For example, the Scrum Master from Scrum Team 1 would explain the progress made by the browse and order features and any dependencies or blockers that might impact Scrum Team 2's work on the payment feature. Similarly, the Scrum Master from Scrum Team 2 would explain the progress made on the payment feature and any dependencies or blockers that might impact Scrum Team 1's work. The Scrum Master from each team would take notes on the discussion, tracking any dependencies and ensuring that they are addressed in a timely manner. This would help to prevent any delays or roadblocks that might otherwise impact the overall delivery of the food ordering app. In summary, the Scrum of Scrums ceremony is an important way for Scrum teams to coordinate their work, avoid delays and roadblocks, and ensure that the overall project is moving forward as smoothly as possible. Let's get started with Chapter 4, Scrum Artifacts. Question number 28. What is the difference between product backlog and sprint backlog? Product backlog is a prioritized list of all the features and requirements for the product, whereas sprint backlog is a subset of the product backlog and contains the items selected for development during the current sprint. In the case study of food ordering app, The product backlog would have included all the features and requirements needed for the app, such as browse by search, browse by category grouping, user navigation, ordering, payment integration, and more. The product backlog would have been created and prioritized by the product owner. The sprint backlog, on the other hand, is a list of items taken from the product backlog that the Scrum team plans to work on during a specific sprint. For example, during Sprint 1, the Scrum team might have selected the browse feature of the menu from the product backlog and plan to deliver it incrementally during that sprint. During the sprint review for Sprint 1, the Scrum team would have demonstrated the working browse feature to the stakeholders and received feedback. So, the browse feature would have been part of the product backlog and then added to the sprint backlog for Sprint 1. Similarly, the ordering feature would have been added to the sprint backlog for Sprint 2 and payment integration for Sprint 3. Question number 29. What is an increment? An increment is a concrete step towards the product goal. It is a slice of working software that is thoroughly verified and usable. Each increment is additive to all prior increments and supports empiricism, meaning it helps to inform decision making and provide feedback. A sample increment from the given case study can be of Sprint 1, where the Scrum team delivered and demoed the browse feature. This increment provided value to the product by making the browse feature available to the users. The Scrum team ensured that the increment was usable and met definition of done, which is a formal description of the state of the increment when it meets the quality measures required for the product. Question number 30. What is sprint goal? Sprint goal is a short statement that describes the objective or outcome that the development team will work towards during the sprint. Assume that the sprint goal for Sprint 2 is to enable customers to place orders online and track the status of their orders in real time. Here are some more details about how the sprint goal might be achieved. The development team may decide to create a web-based ordering form that allows customers to select menu items, choose customizations like toppings or sides, specify any dietary requirements or allergies, and provide their contact and payment details. The team may also develop a dashboard or portal for restaurant staff to manage incoming orders, assign them to specific kitchen stations, and update the status of each order as it progresses from received to in progress to ready for pickup or out for delivery. To ensure that the ordering feature is usable and valuable, the team may conduct user testing or gather feedback from early adopters to identify pain points, areas for improvement, and any additional feature or functionality that could enhance the overall user experience. At the end of the sprint, the development team should have a fully functional and tested online ordering feature that meets the definition of done and supports the sprint goal. The increment delivered at the end of Sprint 2 might include the ordering feature, any associated user interface updates, and any necessary integrations with other systems or services, example, payment processing or inventory management. The ordering feature increment should be thoroughly verified to ensure that it works with all prior increments, such as the browse feature from Sprint 1, and is usable by customers as defined by the definition of done. By focusing on a clear sprint goal and delivering a coherent increment at the end of each sprint, the development team can gradually build out the restaurant's online ordering system in a way that is incremental, iterative, and responsive to the customer needs. Question number 31. What is DoD and how is it determined? In the case study example, the definition of done (DoD) for the Scrum team's product could include a set of quality measures that must be met for each item in the product backlog to be considered done. A sample DoD for the payment integration increment delivered in Sprint 3 might include acceptance criteria. The payment integration must meet all acceptance criteria defined in the product backlog item. Testing. The payment integration must pass all automated and manual tests. Code review. The payment integration must pass a code review by at least 2 members of the Scrum team. Documentation. The payment integration must be fully documented, including user manuals and technical documentation. Integration. The payment integration must be integrated into the existing system and not cause any conflicts or errors. Performance. The payment integration must meet the defined performance requirements such as response time and load testing. The Scrum team would need to agree on the specific measures included in the DoD and ensure that all work completed during the sprint meets these requirements. By meeting the DoD, the work completed in the sprint can be considered done and can be presented during the sprint review or released to stakeholders. The DoD is a key component of Scrum because it provides a shared understanding of what it means for work to be done and ensures that quality measures are met for each increment delivered. This helps to create transparency and builds trust among stakeholders, while also supporting the continuous improvement of the product over time. Question number 32. What is the difference between epic, user story, task and subtasks? In Agile software development, epics, user stories, tasks and subtasks are used to help organize and prioritize work. Here are the differences between them. Epics are large pieces of work that cannot be completed in a single iteration or sprint. They are high-level initiatives that are too big to fit into a single user story. Epics are often broken down into smaller user stories that can be completed in a single iteration. Example, order feature in the mobile app could be an epic that is broken down into multiple user stories. User story. User stories are concise, small, and independent units of work that are focused on a specific feature or functionality. They are usually written from the perspective of the user and include a description of the feature, the user who needs the feature, and the benefit the feature provides. User stories are used to define the product backlog and provide a basis for estimating work. Example, as a user, I want to be able to add items to my cart so that I can purchase multiple items at once. Task. A task is a specific unit of work that is required to complete a user story. Tasks break down the user story into manageable units that can be assigned to individual team members. Tasks are usually more specific and concrete than user stories. Example, develop the backend API to handle adding items to the cart. Subtask. A subtask is a smaller unit of work that is required to complete a task. They are used to break down tasks into smaller units that can be completed in a shorter amount of time. Example, write the unit test for the API method that adds items to the cart. In summary, epics are large initiatives, user stories are high-level features, tasks are specific work items required to complete a user story, and subtasks are smaller units of work required to complete a task. Okay, let's get started with Chapter 5, Scrum Applications. Question number 33. How do Scrum artifacts contribute to the success of the project? In the case study example, Scrum artifacts are used to contribute to the success of the project. Here is how each artifact contributes. Product backlog. The product backlog helps to keep the team aligned and focused on the project goals. It helps the team to prioritize the features and functionality to be developed and ensures that the most important features are developed first. In the case study example, the product backlog might include the browse, ordering, and payment features with the highest priority given to the browse feature in sprint. Sprint backlog. The sprint backlog is a list of items selected from the product backlog to be completed during the current sprint. It provides a detailed plan of the work to be done in the sprint and helps to ensure that the team stays on track and meets its commitments. In the case study example, the sprint backlog for Sprint 1 would include the browse feature with specific tasks and subtasks identified to complete the work. Increment. The increment is the sum of all the completed product backlog items at the end of the sprint. It is a tangible representation of progress and helps the team to measure their success and make any necessary adjustments. In the case study example, the increment at the end of Sprint 1 would be completed browse feature, which the team could demonstrate to stakeholders and use to inform their planning for the next sprint. Overall, these Scrum artifacts help to keep the team focused, aligned, and on track while providing a tangible measure of progress and success. Question number 34. How can Scrum be applied to a distributed team? In a distributed Scrum team, the team members work remotely and may be located in different time zones, which can create communication and coordination challenges. To apply Scrum in a distributed team, the following practices can be used. Use online tools for communication and collaboration, such as video conferencing, chat applications, and project management tools. Schedule regular meetings and ceremonies at a time that works for all team members, such as sprint planning, daily stand-ups, sprint review, and sprint retrospective. Define clear roles and responsibilities for each team member, including the product owner, Scrum Master, and development team members. Use user stories and other Scrum artifacts to ensure that everyone has a shared understanding of the project goals and requirements. For example, in the case study, the Scrum team could use online tools like Zoom or Microsoft Teams for video conferencing and chat applications for communication. Question number 35. How can Scrum be used to manage a project with a long timeline? Scrum can be used to manage a project with a long timeline by breaking the project down into smaller, more manageable increments which can be completed within a shorter time frame. This approach ensures that the team can focus on delivering valuable software and receiving feedback early on in the project. In the case study, the Scrum framework was applied to the development of a food ordering app which had been ongoing for few months without any working software being delivered. The Scrum team focused on delivering working software incrementally, and this allowed the company to start using the app and receiving feedback from customers early on. The team used daily video conferences and collaboration tools to ensure that everyone was on the same page and that work was progressing as planned. The Scrum team was able to handle changing requirements and keep stakeholders informed about the progress of the project. This helped the stakeholders to make informed decisions about the project. Thanks to Scrum, the company was able to launch the food ordering app successfully and it received positive feedback from customers. The distributed team was able to deliver working software after a few months of failure using a traditional project management approach. Question number 36. How can Scrum be used to manage a project with a large scope? Scrum can be used to manage a project with a large scope by breaking down the project into smaller, more manageable pieces of work. This can be done by creating a product backlog that includes all features and functionalities that the product needs to have. The backlog can be prioritized based on business values and efforts required. The team can then work on the highest priority items first and deliver them incrementally in sprints. The team can also collaborate with stakeholders to make sure that the project remains aligned with the overall goals and vision. By delivering working software incrementally, the team can also receive feedback from stakeholders and make adjustments as needed, ensuring that the project is meeting their needs. This iterative and incremental approach helps manage the complexity of a large project and ensures that it remains on track and aligned with the business goals. In the case study, the IT company was developing a new food ordering app, which likely had a large scope given the complexity of such an application. To manage this large scope, the team utilized the Scrum framework and focused on delivering working software incrementally. For example, the team delivered the browse feature of the menu in Sprint 1, followed by ordering feature in Sprint 2 and payment integration in Sprint 3 as mentioned earlier. This allowed the team to break down the large scope of the project into smaller, more manageable chunks that could be completed in a shorter amount of time. By delivering working software incrementally, the team was able to receive feedback from stakeholders early on, which had to inform the direction of the project and make necessary adjustments. This approach allowed the team to effectively manage the large scope of the project and ultimately deliver a successful product. Question number 37. How can Scrum be used to manage a project with a high level of uncertainty? The large IT company in New York faced uncertainty about the food ordering app project due to lack of progress made in the previous few months using a traditional project management approach. The Scrum framework was implemented to manage the project with a high level of uncertainty, and the following steps were taken. Emphasis on collaboration. The Scrum team, consisting of members located in different geographic locations, established clear communication channels and practices using online conference tools to ensure everyone was on the same page and maintain transparency. Incremental delivery. The team focused on delivering working software incrementally, allowing the company to start using the app and receiving feedback from customers early on. This helped the team make necessary adjustments and improvements to the app as the project progressed, reducing uncertainty about the success of the app. Flexibility and adaptability. The Scrum framework allows for flexibility and adaptability to changing requirements and feedback, which help the team manage the high level of uncertainty in the project. They were able to make changes to the app quickly and efficiently based on feedback from customers and stakeholders. Continuous improvement. The team continually evaluated and improved their processes throughout the project, enabling them to manage uncertainty and increase efficiency. By using Scrum to manage the project with a high level of uncertainty, the team was able to successfully launch the food ordering app after a few notable months of failure using a traditional project management approach. Question number 38. How did the team use Scrum to ensure that the final product met the needs of the company and the customers? The Scrum team in the given case study used several techniques to ensure that the final product met the needs of the company and the customers. Regular customer feedback. The team delivered working software incrementally, which allowed the company to start using the app and receiving feedback from customers early on. This feedback was used to make necessary adjustments and improvements to the app as the project progressed. Continuous collaboration with stakeholders. The team maintained constant communication with stakeholders to keep them informed about the progress of the project and to ensure that the final product would meet their needs. Prioritization of features. The team used the product backlog to prioritize the features that were most important to the company and customers, and they worked on these features first to ensure that they were delivered on time. User stories. The team wrote user stories from the perspective of the user and included a description of the feature, the user who needs the feature, and the benefit the feature provides. These user stories were used to define the product backlog and provide a basis for estimating work. By using these techniques, the Scrum team was able to ensure that the final product met the needs of the company and the customers. Question number 39. How did the team use Scrum to measure the success of the food ordering app? The team in the case study used various Scrum artifacts to measure the success of the food ordering app, such as product backlog. The team created and continuously updated the product backlog, which served as a list of features and requirements for the app. They prioritized the items in the backlog based on the value they would provide to the company and customers. Sprint review. The team conducted a sprint review at the end of each sprint to demonstrate the working software to the stakeholders, including the product owner and the customers. This helped to gather feedback and ensure that the app was meeting the needs of the stakeholders. Sprint retrospective. The team held a sprint retrospective at the end of each sprint to reflect on the team's performance and identify areas for improvement. This helped the team to continually enhance the app's quality and make necessary changes to increase customer satisfaction. Burn down chart. The team used a burn down chart to track the progress of the project and measure how much work was remaining. This helped to ensure that the team was on track to meet their sprint goals and deliver the product on time. Overall, the team's use of Scrum helped to ensure that the food ordering app was successful and met the needs of the company and customers by enabling continuous feedback, prioritization, and reflection on progress and results. Question number 40. What are the tools used for application of Scrums? There are several tools that can be used for the application of Scrum, including Scrum boards. These are physical or digital boards that are used to visualize the progress of the work and to track tasks, user stories, and other important information. Burn down charts. These are graphs that show the progress of work and the rate at which work is being completed over time. They can help the team to identify trends and to make adjustments as necessary. Product backlogs. These are lists of features or requirements that are prioritized based on their value to the customers or business. They provide a basis for planning and for estimating the work required to complete a project. Sprint reviews. These are meetings held at the end of each sprint to review the work that was completed and to gather feedback from stakeholders. Retrospectives. These are meetings held at the end of each sprint to reflect on the team's performance and to identify opportunities for improvement. Collaboration tools. These can include messaging apps, video conferencing software, and project management software that enable remote team members to communicate and collaborate effectively. Let's begin with Chapter 6, Situational Questions. Question number 41. How would you handle a situation where a team member is not fulfilling his or her responsibility according to the Scrum framework? If a team member is not fulfilling his or her responsibility according to the Scrum framework, the following steps can be taken to handle the situation. Identify the issue. The Scrum Master or team leader should first identify the specific issue and discuss it with the team member. It is important to be specific and provide examples of the behavior that is not aligned with the Scrum framework. Discuss the impact. The Scrum Master or team leader should discuss the impact of the team member's behavior on the project and the team. The focus should be on the negative impact rather than blaming the team member. Provide support. The Scrum Master or team leader should provide support to the team member to help them improve their behavior. This could include providing training, mentoring, or coaching. Set expectations. The Scrum Master or team leader should set clear expectations for the team member and provide a plan of action for improvement. Monitor progress. The Scrum Master or team leader should monitor the team member's progress and provide feedback on their behavior. It is important to recognize and acknowledge any improvements or provide ongoing support. Take actions if necessary. If the team member continues to behave in a way that is not aligned with the Scrum framework and it is impacting the project and the team, the Scrum Master or team leader may need to take more formal action such as involving HR or removing the team member from the project. However, this should only be done as the last resort after all the options have been exhausted. Overall, it is important to address the issue in a timely and respectful manner and to focus on supporting the team member to improve rather than punishing or blaming them. Question number 42. What steps would you take if the team is consistently missing their sprint goals? If a team is consistently missing their sprint goals, there are several steps that can be taken to address the issue and improve performance. Review the sprint goals and scope. It is important to review the sprint goals and scope to ensure that they are realistic and achievable given the team's capacity and resources. Conduct a retrospective. Conduct a retrospective with the team to identify the root cause of the missed sprint goals. This can help to identify process inefficiencies, communication issues, or other factors that may be impacting the team's ability to complete work on time. Adjust the sprint planning process. If the team is consistently missing sprint goals, it may be necessary to adjust the sprint planning process. This can involve more detailed planning, increased collaboration between team members, or changes to the prioritization of work items. Provide additional support. If team members are struggling to complete their work, it may be necessary to provide additional support. This can include training, coaching, or additional resources to help team members complete their work. Set realistic expectations. It is important to set realistic expectations for the team's performance based on their capacity and available resources. This can help to reduce the pressure on the team and prevent burnout or frustration. Monitor progress. It is important to monitor the team's progress during each sprint and take actions to address any issues as they arise. This can help to prevent the team from falling behind schedule and ensure that they are able to complete their work on time. Overall, addressing missed sprint goals requires a proactive and collaborative approach with a focus on continuous improvement and willingness to adjust processes and practices as needed. Question number 43. How would you handle a situation where team members are not providing honest and transparent feedback during retrospectives? In Scrum, the retrospective is a key ceremony where the team reflects on their performance during the previous sprint and identifies opportunities for improvement. Honest and transparent feedback is critical for the success of the ceremony and the team's continuous improvement. If team members are not providing honest and transparent feedback during retrospectives, the Scrum Master can take the following steps. Set the tone. At the start of the retrospective, the Scrum Master can set the tone and emphasize the importance of honest and transparent feedback. They can encourage the team to speak up and share their thoughts and feelings openly. Create a safe environment. The Scrum Master can create a safe environment where team members feel comfortable sharing their feedback. They can establish ground rules such as no personal attacks and confidentiality to ensure that the discussion remains respectful and constructive. Use anonymous feedback. The Scrum Master can use anonymous feedback techniques such as feedback box or an online survey to allow team members to provide feedback without fear of retribution. Follow up with individuals. If the Scrum Master suspects that individuals are not providing honest feedback, they can follow up with them after retrospective. The Scrum Master can ask if there are any concerns or issues that they didn't feel comfortable sharing in the retrospective and try to address them one-on-one. Continuously improve. The Scrum Master can use the feedback from the retrospective to continuously improve the retrospective process. They can ask the team for suggestions on how to make the process more effective and engaging. Overall, it is essential to foster a culture of trust and openness within the team. The Scrum Master can lead by example and demonstrate the value of honest and transparent feedback by being open to receiving feedback themselves. Question number 44. What actions would you take if the team is facing communication challenges due to cultural or language differences? If a team is facing communication challenges due to cultural or language differences, as a Scrum Master, I would take the following actions. Acknowledge the issue. I would acknowledge that the team is facing communication challenges due to cultural or language differences. It is essential to acknowledge the problem to find a solution to it. Foster an inclusive environment. I would work towards creating a safe and inclusive environment that promotes open communication. This environment will help the team members feel comfortable and confident enough to express their ideas and concerns. Encourage team building activities. I would encourage team building activities to help the team members understand and appreciate each other's cultural differences. This will help break down cultural barriers and promote a positive team environment. Establish clear communication channels. I would establish clear communication channels that cater to the language and cultural differences of the team members. This could include the use of interpreters or translation services. Provide training. I would provide training to the team members to help them improve their language and communication skills. This could include language classes or cultural training to help the team members understand each other. Use visual aids. I would use visual aids such as diagrams and flowcharts to help explain complex ideas. Visual aids are effective in helping the team members understand and retain information. Schedule regular check-ins. I would schedule regular check-ins with the team members to ensure that everyone is on the same page and that communication channels are working effectively. By taking these actions, I would work towards improving communication within the team and help them overcome any cultural or language barriers they may be facing. Question number 45. Tell us about a time you had an issue with a stakeholder and what you did to resolve it. Let's say that a stakeholder had concerns about the progress of a project and felt that team was not delivering the expected results. As a Scrum Master, I would arrange a meeting with the stakeholder to discuss their concerns and listen to their feedback. During the meeting, I would encourage open communication and work to understand the stakeholder's perspective as well as any underlying issues that might be impacting their perception of the project. After hearing the stakeholder concerns, I would work with the team to identify any areas where we could improve and create a plan of action to address the stakeholders' feedback. This might involve revisiting project goals, reassessing the timeline, or adjusting the scope of the project. Once we have a plan in place, I would provide regular updates to the stakeholder, keeping them informed about our progress and addressing any concerns as they arise. By keeping the stakeholder informed and involved in the project, we can work together to ensure that the project is successful and meets the needs of all stakeholders. Question number 46. How would you deal with discord or conflict in the Scrum team? Dealing with discord or conflict in a Scrum team requires a delicate approach as it can disrupt the progress of the project and can lead to further problems. Here are some steps that a Scrum Master could take to address discord or conflict within the team. Encourage open communication. Encourage team members to express their concerns and disagreements openly while ensuring that all communication is respectful and constructive. Identify the source of conflict. Identify the root cause of the conflict, whether it be the differences in opinion, unclear roles or responsibilities, or personal issues. Facilitate conflict resolution. As a Scrum Master, you can facilitate conflict resolution by encouraging team members to identify possible solutions, facilitating discussions and negotiations, and helping the team reach a consensus. Reinforce Scrum values. Remind the team members of the Scrum team values of respect, openness, and courage, and encourage them to embrace these values in their interactions with one another. Seek outside help if necessary. If the conflict is particularly intense or intractable, you may need to seek the help of an external mediator or coach. In the case study provided, the Scrum Master dealt with the communication challenges posed by a distributed team by establishing clear communication channels and practices. This helped to avoid potential conflicts that could arise from miscommunication and misunderstandings due to cultural differences or time zone challenges. However, if conflicts did arise, the Scrum Master could have followed the steps above to help the team resolve them in a constructive and respectful manner. Question number 47. Give us some examples of impediments and how you have handled them. Impediments are obstacles or issues that prevent the Scrum team from achieving its goals. Here are a few examples of impediments that can occur in a Scrum project and how they can be handled. Lack of communication. If team members are not communicating effectively, this can lead to misunderstandings and delays. To address this, the Scrum Master can set up regular meetings and encourage the team members to communicate openly and honestly. Technical issues. If the team is facing technical issues that are slowing down the project, the Scrum Master can work with the team to identify and resolve these issues. This might involve bringing in additional resources or changing the project plan. Lack of resources. If the team does not have the resources it needs to complete the project, this can be a major impediment. The Scrum Master can work with the stakeholders to secure the necessary resources or adjust the project plan as needed. Scope creep. If the project scope is expanding beyond what was originally planned, this can create delays and confusion. The Scrum Master can work with the product owner to ensure that the project stays on track and that the team is able to deliver value incrementally. Conflicts within the team. If team members are not getting along or are experiencing conflicts, this can be a major impediment to the progress. The Scrum Master can work with the team to identify the source of the conflict and help them to resolve their differences. In general, the Scrum Master plays an important role in identifying and addressing impediments as they arise. They work closely with the team to identify issues, prioritize them, and develop a plan for resolving them in a timely and effective manner. Question number 48. You are in the middle of a sprint and suddenly the product owner comes with a new requirement. What will you do? If the product owner comes with a new requirement in the middle of a sprint, the first thing to do is to understand the nature and the impact of the new requirement. As a Scrum Master, I would facilitate a meeting with the product owner, development team, and any other relevant stakeholders to discuss the new requirement and determine how it should be handled. Here are some steps that could be taken in this situation. Determine the priority. It is important to understand the priority of the new requirement in relation to the current sprint goal. If the requirement is critical, the team may need to adjust the sprint goal or add the new requirement to the backlog for the next sprint. Evaluate the impact. The team needs to evaluate the impact of the new requirement on the sprint backlog and on team's ability to meet the sprint goal. If the new requirement is too large or complex, it may not be feasible to complete it within the current sprint. Communicate with the stakeholders. The Scrum Master should communicate the impact of the new requirement to the stakeholders and discuss the options available. This may include extending the sprint, reprioritizing the backlog, or delaying the new requirement until the next sprint. Adjust the sprint backlog. If the team decides to add the new requirement to the sprint, they will need to adjust the sprint backlog and update the sprint plan accordingly. Re-estimate the effort. The team needs to re-estimate the effort required to complete the sprint backlog, taking into account the new requirement. Adapt the sprint plan. If necessary, the team may need to adapt the sprint plan and reprioritize the backlog to ensure that the sprint goal can be achieved. In all cases, it is important to ensure that the team remains focused on the sprint goal and that any changes are communicated and agreed upon by all the stakeholders. Question number 49. What is time boxing in Scrum and how do you enforce it effectively? Time boxing in Scrum refers to the practice of limiting the amount of time a team spends on a specific task, activities, or meetings. This practice ensures that the team remains focused on delivering the highest value work items within a fixed period of time, which helps to keep the project on track and avoid unnecessary delays. To enforce time boxing effectively, the Scrum Master should ensure that the team is aware of the time box duration for each activity or meeting and that they are committed to completing the tasks within the allocated time. The Scrum Master can use a variety of techniques to enforce time boxing, such as setting a visible timer or countdown clock, reminding the team of the time remaining at regular intervals, and facilitating discussions to ensure that discussions do not exceed the time box duration. The Scrum Master can also work with the team to ensure that time-boxed activities are scheduled at regular intervals and that they are given appropriate amount of time for completion. In addition, the Scrum Master should encourage the team to focus on delivering the highest priority items within the time box duration and to adjust their approach or priorities if they are at risk of exceeding the time box. In summary, effective enforcement of time boxing in Scrum involves clear communication, active facilitation, and a commitment from entire team to work within the set time frames. Question number 50. Why should we hire you as our Scrum Master? As a potential Scrum Master, I can bring a wealth of knowledge and experience to your organization. Here are a few reasons why I believe I would be a great fit for the role. I have extensive experience with the Scrum framework. I have worked with Scrum for several years and have a deep understanding of the principles and values that guide the framework. I have experience as a Scrum Master and have successfully facilitated many sprints and retrospectives. I am an excellent communicator. As a Scrum Master, it is critical to be able to communicate effectively with the team members, stakeholders, and customers. I have excellent written and verbal communication skills and I am comfortable working with people from different backgrounds and cultures. I am a problem solver. Scrum Masters are often tasked with identifying and solving problems that arise during sprints. I have a natural ability to think critically and creatively and I am comfortable working in a fast-paced environment. I am a team player. As a Scrum Master, it is essential to be a team player and work collaboratively with other members of the Scrum team. I am comfortable working in a team setting and I am always willing to go above and beyond to support my colleagues. I am committed to continuous improvement. Continuous improvement is a key tenet of the Scrum framework and I am committed to help teams improve their processes and deliver better products. I am always looking for ways to improve my own skills and knowledge and I am passionate about sharing my knowledge with others. Overall, I believe that I would be an excellent Scrum Master for your organization. I have the experience, skills and passion to help your team achieve its goals and deliver high quality products.